Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Football Unfiltered. I'm your host, Carl-Philip. I'm with my co-host, Alain. What's going on, my brother?
I'm doing great, coach. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, man. So, this is the show that we keep everything raw. That's why we call it Football Unfiltered. So, before we get started, Alain, what's the most unfiltered things that you want to share with the audience today?
PSG, baby. PSG. That's what I want
Yeah,
to share. That's what it is. We called this out earlier this year. We keep saying we had the scores, and I know you can share with America the outcomes. I predicted the win. I predicted the outcome. I believe in PSG. I believe in Dembele, Luis Enriquez, manager of the century. Point
there you
blank.
go. So anyway, for what Ale is alluded to, so let me play it now. So we're gonna see what Ale is talking about.
Um, if Arsenal scores first, I think that will change the entire dynamic of the game. Look, to make a long story short, we're looking at potentially either a 3-0 or 1-1 going to overtime and penalty kick. I don't think we're gonna see what happened between like Bayern and PSG the first game. No, no, we're not too.
So, Ale, what's your
Now we
prediction?
back.
What's your prediction, Ale? Back at it, Ale. You predicted it. So you said that the game would go if. Oh, you said it right, man. You said if Arsenal score first, which is what happened yesterday. The game's gonna end up being 1-1, and the game gonna go to penalty kick. And hey, you got it right, man. So congratulations, Alan. That was a
Thank
great
you.
prediction.
Thank you,
So
sir.
so yeah, but I know you're excited. You're a PSG fan. PSG won the game, but what does that mean with PSG winning that the Champions League on a back to back? That was the first time that happened since Real Madrid did it. So what you think? What message you think PSG is sending to Europe right now?
I think it's a big message. I think they have a strong culture. I think from a coaching standpoint, they have a good coach who believes in his players. He believes in his players and he believes in the organizational culture. The players believe in themselves. When you look at this team, man, you see a lot of unity, a lot of brotherly love. I don't think there's anyone there with a high ego. I don't see people trying to fight in within the team. They're not fighting out there on the field. I think they're fighting against the opposite team. So I feel like from a managerial standpoint, the club overcame a lot. The moment that they got rid of Mbappe, Messi, and Neymar, it's a whole different team. Luis Enriquez's philosophy is working. He believes in having 5 to 6 players that can save 12 goals versus one player that scores 40 goals, and you see it every day. Dembele, again, for me, should become the Ballon d'Or, should win the Ballon d'Or this year. Again, I think not only because he's a great player, but I think he has displayed the leadership needed to win this award. And we haven't seen what France is going to do in the World Cup. The World Cup is about to start in a couple of weeks. And can you imagine if France ends up winning this World Cup? Wow. Wow. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, PSG. When you're looking at the game from yesterday, PSG was the better team. Arsenal, outside of the goal they score, you could tell that Arsenal they just wanted to defend the entire game, and I knew that they was gonna be in trouble because you gotta be able to possess the ball, and I felt like Arsenal could not do that. And I don't know what Arsenal strategy was. I mean, I can see Arsenal strategy was playing good defense and also try to get a PSG, in counterattack. But what we see is when you play defense constantly, things gonna happen. Just like that PK, that got awarded, and that's how PSG score. Because when you're constant pressure every single time, something gonna give. So, but it was interesting to see that how both managers, when at some point that there's a potential for the game to go to penalty kick, and both managers actually took down the best players, like the most offensive players, and and be like, man, you got Vitinha was out, Quinones was out. And then they put it in the feet of the young guys, Due, to be like, hey, if we're gonna win this in penalty kicks, and Arsenal did the same thing too. So I mean, it was weird to me to see that when you have both teams playing PKs and they put the guys who actually are not what you call penalty takers to be on the field to for that decisive moment. Usually you see the opposite, like they bring people in that they know that are really effective penalty takers to be at that part of the game so they can actually score PKs. But this part around, I saw that it was the opposite. But those guys, they get paid big money, so they know exactly what they're doing. But I thought that was kind of strange a little bit. So Alain, let's go back to the game yesterday. When did you see that? What moment that you really said that okay, PSG gonna end up winning the game? What was that moment for you?
I that's a very good question because it was a tricky game in the sense that when I saw Arsenal score first, right in the first half, because of the ricochet that happened, and then
Hmm.
went 1-0, I said, okay, I expected PSG to quickly, score again. But what we saw was totally different. Arsenal didn't come to win the game. Arsenal came to just play defense and blocked the back. And then when you look at the stats, and I'm going to let you speak more about the stats, but you and I
Hmm.
both know they had a 75% versus 25%, possession time with PSG having the ball 75% of the time with the most passes. So they pretty much dominated the game.
Yeah,
So my concern was I know PSG was the better team
yeah,
going into the game, but what I was worried about is like you've seen in so many games in World Cups and in big games where sometimes the most dominating team could end up losing the game
yeah,
because that's the way soccer is. You just never know. You could
yeah,
have one counter attack, one mistake in the back end, and here you go. You score again 2-0 and it's over. Or when it got tied 1-1, they could have scored when they finally decided to play during overtime. There was a few moments where Arsenal said, you know what, let's just try to play offense for a while.
mhm,
And you saw there were some gaps in the PSG defense, because they spent the entire game playing offense. And again, I felt like if Arsenal really came with a different mentality, and I felt like if the coach prepared them differently, said, you know what, we're gonna go in and play like Chelsea played last year in the
mhm,
Club Championship World Cup, they could have had a better chance to beat PSG actually. But
mhm.
because I feel like the coach didn't do a good job prepping the team, I think the mentality, the way the game strategy was poor. And in the moment that I saw that, I said, you know what? If they go to PK, there could be a chance that PSG might win it.
Right. So I think that when you think about it, right, it was the best offensive team against the best defensive teams, right? So Arsenal went into that game and said, "All right, we got the best defensive team in the whole tournament, so we're gonna rely on a defensive and our defenses to make sure that we weather the storm and then we try to buy them on counter attack. which I think that was the game plan, right? They wanted to make sure they play solid defense, and when they have the opportunity to score, they score because they feel like, we have a good defense and the defense gonna hold up. So, but I think the biggest problem when I see that it's always dangerous is, yes, you can have a good defense, but at the same time, you should be able to possess the ball. You should be able to contain the ball and possess
Mhm.
it, because when you play against a team that constantly put pressure on you, you don't want to keep turning the ball over, and then next thing you know, you back at playing defense again. Because what's happening is when those guys are throwing that many numbers at you constantly, at one point something gonna give, right? You got somebody gonna get tripped, or somebody's gonna be reckless, which that's what happened in that PK yesterday. Somebody's gonna get reckless, and then next thing you know, you give that team an opportunity to score a goal. But you're right. I felt like, when Arsenal started the game, they were a little bit very aggressive. They were like, okay, we're gonna play. And then once they scored, I think they got comfortable. They were like, you know what, this is what we got. We're gonna rely on it. Uh, and I felt like, even though they were winning 1-0, I never felt like they were dangerous, right? I never felt like, when they had the ball on the offensive third, they were gonna make something happen. I mean, Saka did not play a great game yesterday. And I did not see the guy on the Arsenal side that really gonna be like, man, if this guy get the ball, something magic gonna happen. Which that was different for PSG, right? When you're looking at PSG, obviously you have Dembele, you have Due, you have, I mean, when they put Barcola, and then you
Coca-Cola
have,
came strong. Yeah.
yeah, and then you have that one kid, number 7, I couldn't think of his name. Uh,
Gomez.
uh, no, it's not. No, yeah. So, and then when you're looking at all those guys, you be like, man, it's a matter of time for PSG to score. It was a matter of time for PSG to score. So, yeah, you absolutely right. Sometimes the team that possesses the ball the most, it's not a guarantee that they're gonna win the game. I mean, it's a game that you have to put the ball in the back of the net. You have to score more than the, even though it sounds cliche, but you have to score more than the other team. But uh, I felt like Arsenal could have done more, and and they play in a way that when they get to the PK, they just hope that the luck was on their side. Because I felt like Arsenal, it's a much better team to play the way they played yesterday. That's my take on it. So now, before we move to the next topic, what you kind of mentioned that when you start celebrating about PSG winning. So what does that win, say to the legacy of Luis Enrique?
Oh my goodness. I think, man, this guy, I don't know what it is about Luis Enrique. I really like him. And to be honest with you, I did not know him well as a coach before, right? You probably know
Hmm.
him better, but I wasn't too much into the coaching before.
Hmm.
I knew him as a player when he used to play for Spain. But I just love his philosophy. I there's something about a coach that he's highly confident and believes in his players
Hmm.
and doesn't seek publicity, doesn't seek, superstardom. He
Yeah.
comes in, he believed in his team on day one. And he said that he was not afraid of any other European teams because he knew he had the best players. So I think not only winning the UCL, man, winning it back to back with a team without Mbappe, with a team that came from far, that came from financial distress with a bad reputation, and rebuilding that franchise and winning it now. They might even go and win it again next year. You don't know. The players are still young. Can you imagine? They
Yeah.
could potentially be one of the teams to do a three-peat. That would be like, I think Cristiano Ronaldo did it with Real Madrid. Uh,
Hmm.
but he could be a second team to do it again because you know why? Because the players believe in him. The organization believes in him, and France, the people of Paris, they believe in Luis Enrique,
Hmm.
and he is defiant. He's fearless, and honestly, he's solid. I think he has positioned himself to potentially become the next coach of Spain. You don't know.
He was the coach. He coached Spain.
Okay.
He coached Spain, but yeah, he can go back and he can always go back and be the next coach. But you're right. It's funny. It's funny that you mentioned that. Because a lot of times, when you're looking at Luis Enrique, the first time he won the Champions League with Barcelona, it was a team with Messi, Neymar, and
Hmm.
Suarez, right? I mean, we talk about it was one of the best team. We have the MSN was at the peak at the time, so so a lot of times, the MSN got all the publicity, right? They got all
Right.
the coverage, so everybody say, yeah, anybody could have won with a team like that, correct?
Hmm.
So, and then when he left Barcelona, he ended up, he did not have a lot of success, when he left Barcelona, so even with Spain, he didn't have a success with Spain, and also he also coached other team. They have success. So when he went to PSG, nobody said what's going on, because he was the second fiddle of Pep Guardiola, right? Because Pep
Hmm.
was the one that everywhere he went, he won, right? So he's always like the second guy, right? And 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 then on top of it, when he came to PSG, he made one of the biggest decision: let Neymar go, right? He let Neymar go, right? So that was the first thing. You'd be like, man, what's going on here, right? And then the second one, it's let Mbappe go, right? So you'd be like, what is going on here? So for him to kind of turn this club around in such small amount of time, because it usually takes time, and to be able to instill that trust in those players and tell those players, hey, you know what? If we're gonna do it, we're gonna have to do it this way, and then this way is the way it's gonna give us the best result. And the players bought into his philosophy. Now we're talking about Luis Enrique as one of the best coaches in the world, or if not
Yeah.
one of the best coaches ever coached the game. So you're right. He's the second coach to be able to win the Champions League, back to back. And you think about the last couple of tournaments that he coached. I mean, even the FIFA World Cup, even though they lost, but they made it all the way to the championship game. So they always contending. They always there to be the best team. And you're right. They have a strong chance. They have a strong chance to go back and do the three-peat next year. So they have. I think it's gonna be a little hard because a lot of teams gonna position themselves uh, in a different way to compete. And I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna be able to. We got a World Cup year coming up. This is the World Cup here. You don't know who's gonna blow up, and you don't know who's gonna see that. Hey, let me go to Real Madrid, or let me go to Barcelona of the world, so I can see it as a challenge. So we'll see how he's gonna be able to keep that core team together. But you're right. He had the recipe. He had the right mindset, and the players bought into his philosophy. So I don't see. I mean, you're right. They could beat the team that
You,
after Real Madrid go for the three-peat.
you know what's unique about Luis Enrique, and which is really rare? There's not a manager in any sports today, whether it is the NBA, the NFL, or any soccer team in Europe, that will be willing to lead a franchise without having one or two superstars. You
Yeah.
know, they need that brand recognition. They need those star players, so they could have instant credibility for their program or their franchise, not only from a winning standpoint, but also from a marketing standpoint, right? And
Hmm.
Luis Enrique did not take a chance on Bocola, Dembele, Due. No, he believed and invested in those guys. And what's
Yep.
so funny, the entire organization backed him up. And I think
Hmm.
that's what people are looking. Yesterday, I was watching the game. There was a lot of other managers in the stand watching this, trying to
Right.
understand. Even the people from Real Madrid, we have who has the most players, a lot of money. They're pretty well off. They were trying to figure out what is this guy doing? What did we do wrong? You know, he doesn't have fights in the locker rooms like Real Madrid is having right now. No, he's running a clean operation. And I remember, and I told you that like 6, 7 months ago when they hired Ancelotti for Brazil, I told you I wanted Luis Enrique to coach Brazil. So I don't know. That's another topic. We'll get to go and talk about Brazil in a few, but
And
that's
if you
that's
segment,
how much I believe in Luis Enrique.
no, I mean you gotta give him his credit. You gotta give him his flowers, and and he deserve it. He deserve his credit. But he has a talented team, so that's one thing I want everybody to understand too. It's not like Luis Enrique just all of a sudden. I mean, those guys. He has a talented team. He had world class players in his team. They're not a bunch of players that just
They're
believe
not
in his
known.
philosophy, huh?
They're not superstars like the Messis and the
Yeah, but
Mbappes.
no, but they talented. I mean,
Yeah.
Vitinha is probably. I mean, they're talented. Vitinha is probably one of the best midfielder in the world. Fabian Ruiz is also very solid. Those guys they're doing also really well with the national team. So yeah, they're not people that you just turn on TV to watch them, but they are talented. He has a talented team because you know you need talent to win. You can't win the
Correct.
Champions League if you don't have talent. But you need talent to win. But and I think what you're saying is right. They bought in his philosophy, and then they playing the best. They're playing their best. Both guys, Fabian Ruiz and Vitinha, they both play with Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe, and they were not that type of player. So
Marquinhos
maybe,
too was
yeah,
there. He's still
Marquinhos,
there.
yeah, but Marquinhos was solid.
Hmm.
Marquinhos was solid before Luis Enrique. He was always a solid player, very solid. Nuno Mendes,
Hmm.
that's another player that is very strong. I think one thing I really like about Luis Enrique, which that's what you see Enzo Flick is doing with Barcelona, is the injection of the youth in the team. Like, that's where I see, compared to other teams, like, you see in Europe and, Real Madrid in particular, they like to go after the stars and build the team with stars.
Hmm.
Whereas you see Barcelona and Luis Enrique, they get those guys that came from PSG. They get those guys that came from the Barcelona school, and then they raise them up and then make them play for the team, I said for the national team, for the senior team. So I think that's one thing that you can see that uh, Masia mentality that Luis Enrique got from FC Barcelona is taking the same mentality over PSG, which is uh, the development of the youth. I mean, you see Bacola, he came from the PSG ranks. Due, same thing, coming from the PSG ranks, and those are the things that I feel like is very noble from Luis Enrique, and then you can see fruit of that as well too. So uh, anyway, so that's good. Again, Alain, congratulations. You being high on your team. You just didn't become a fan this year. You always high on PSG. So congratulations again. So it's well deserved, and they were the best team in Europe, and they deservedly won the championship like everybody expected. So now let's give the women some love too. So last week we had Lyon was playing against FC Barcelona. As a matter of fact, our very own Melchi Demone is playing for Lyon, and man, Barcelona just took it to them, man. What went wrong, dude? What went wrong in that game?
Man, they control the match since the beginning. I mean, the midfield, was totally dominated. The limited possession, Melchi was totally absent. there was no way. I felt like Lyon was totally possessed. What I saw watching this game was exactly what I saw when Chelsea played against PSG at the World Cup, the Clubs World Cup last year, where you expected a PSG to come strong and be dominating. But that wasn't the case. Chelsea was the team since the beginning of the game that was dominating. So what we saw was Barcelona again pressing, pushing mistakes from Lyon, making sure that they scored over and over and over and over, they just couldn't. I think there was opportunities during the game where Lyon could have scored, but they missed those opportunities. Either they shut the ball, they give it to the keeper, or it went on the side. And when you're playing those types of games, you cannot miss any opportunity. So kudos to Barcelona. I think Barcelona was again mentally prepared, and I think Lyon was shocked. I think they couldn't recover. I think they lost their mojo, and I really wanted Belgium to win this one, but hey, that's what happens in sports, right? The best team won, and Barcelona was the best team.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it. Even when Barcelona was winning 2-0, you could tell that they need one goal to get back in the game, and then you could tell that the game got away from them, right? And then also we're talking about Melchi, right? Barcelona very respected Melchi. They say, you know what? If we're gonna win this game, we're gonna have to have the other players beat us. So what they did, every time Elchi had the ball, they put body on her. They were fouling her. They was like, no, you're not gonna beat us, and that's what they did, which is a great strategy. So that tells you that they did their homework. They know that Belchi is the best player in the other team. So the first thing they did, they tried to take it away, and couldn't do anything. I mean, she was non-existent. Even though she had a great ball, she played a great ball to someone to have an opportunity to
Yeah,
score, but they
she
missed it.
missed it.
Yeah, she missed it. But that's what happened, right? When you have a player that is that magical, all they need is one opportunity, like to pass the ball to get a great assist. But unfortunately, the girl could not capitalize on it. But Barcelona, you're right. Barcelona was the better team. They controlled the game. They controlled possession of the game. And when Lyons tried to push to try to score, and then they got stretched out, and Barcelona made it pay. And that third goal was the killer. When she scored that banger, I was like, game over. But you see that when the game was still 2-0, you'll be like, as a like for us, we were rooting for Melchi, right? We were like, man, all they need is one goal to get back in the game. And I thought Lyon was thinking that way as well too, and said that when it just need to get one goal to get back in the game, so they can shift that momentum on their side. But Barcelona was the better team. So they
Look
were
at
the
you.
better.
You're happy, huh? You're finally you
Yeah,
got
I
your
mean,
you got some. You're rooting for Barcelona or Lyon? I'm curious to know.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I was rooting for Melchi, and I was watching the game with Mateo, my son Mateo, and he said, "I couldn't believe that you're rooting against Barcelona." I say, "Hey, Mateo, I mean, I'm not gonna be unhappy that Barcelona won. I mean, if Barcelona end up winning the game, I'm gonna still be happy for Barcelona because that's my favorite team. But today, I'm rooting for Melchi, right? I want Melchi to win, and it's the same thing, all right. Everybody know I'm a big Argentina fan, but if Argentina is playing Haiti, I'm gonna root for Haiti, right? So that's once in a lifetime. So for that one time, I wanted to make sure that I'm on the Haiti side if they play in Argentina. But it's the same thing I felt. And then he couldn't understand it. He said, "Dad, I don't understand. I don't understand why you're rooting against Barcelona." I said, That's the only way I could root for Barcelona. Because I could root against Barcelona because Aunt Melchi, she's from Haiti, and I want her to win. So that's why. So anyway, uh, so what do you think? What do you think? You still think that Melchi has a shot at winning the Ballon d'Or for the women Ballon d'Or, or you think that Champions League game was the decider to give it
No, no, I
to
think
the
she still
FC
has a
Barcelona.
chance. I think Dembele lost the Club World Cup in the final and still won the Ballon d'Or last year. And I knew there were a lot of critics that were claiming, well, if he needs to win, if he
Ah,
wants to win the Ballon d'Or, they have to
the,
win the
the,
World Cup. And
the
he didn't
FIFA
win
World
it, so
the FIFA World Club was not have
hey,
any weight. Nah, man.
ah, come on, man. Well, you
No,
know what?
the FIFA World Club had no weight
You had all
on
those
the
stars
Ballon d'Or.
playing. Then it
Yeah,
has to wait. No, it's come on. You can use it to make a case to build. It reinforces the case. If PSG had won this final, the FIFA World Cup, it would have boosted him, and make a stronger case for him to win the Ballon d'Or.
who?
Yes, you could be right, coach, but there's nothing wrong when you win. A win is a win. I'd
Right,
rather
but
win a tournament than lose it.
yeah, but I don't think the FIFA World Club had any weight whether or not Dembele would have won the FIFA Ballon d'Or. I think they're looking at the. I mean, first of all, the FIFA World Club was one. It was there, but it was like one tournament they put in. So I don't think he had any weight on it. So if Melchi would have lost to another team, like let's say if it was Lyon against Chelsea and Matt Melchi was the best player, even though Chelsea was a better team. But the thing is, Barcelona had a player. She's unbelievable. So I think that can be the decider of that, but we'll see. I want Melchi to win the Ballon d'Or, so that's what I'm rooting for. But we'll see what happens. So uh, anyway, congratulations to FC Barcelona for winning the Women's Champions League. Like I said, I'm sorry I did not root for you guys, even though I'm a big Barcelona fan. But I'm sorry you were playing against Melchi. But again, congratulations. Barcelona was the better team, and they deserve to win the game. So now, Alain, let's talk big things now, man. The World Cup. I mean, tomorrow will be the 1st of June. You know what that means? World Cup month. So the World Cup is near. And what is going on with your boy Neymar, man? What's going on here, man?
Okay, first and foremost, Neymar is not my boy. Okay, let's just be clear on that, coach. Let's not start. You're trying to poke me. He's not my
Uh,
boy. I never wanted Neymar on that team to start with. I told you that was a waste of a seat. I think there could be other
Players,
strikers that could take his spot and make a difference. But you know what? Ancelotti wanted to be political. He didn't want to take take the risk of not bringing Neymar to the team, and that's why Neymar is on that team. There was a lot of pressure, a lot of political pressure. The
yep.
fan base, the population, the people of Brazil, they claim they want Neymar. They think he's going to be their savior. He gave it to them. But guess what? Now he's suffering from a calf injury. He's going to miss the opening game. We don't know how long he's going to be out. He could miss the opening game, the second game. He could miss the entire first round.
He can
God
miss the
knows
entire.
when he's
He
going to
can
come.
he can miss the entire World Cup. I mean, you think about it. Any lower body injury that you have, I mean, it's very hard to recover from them, right? Because the one thing you're seeing, you're not running, right? You're not running, so your stamina is not even there. When everybody is far ahead, you behind. So I mean, if you break your arm when you don't need your arm to play soccer, but when you have a calf injury, which is very very problematic, right?
It
And
is. It
it,
is.
it's very problematic. It's as bad as saying that you have an ankle problem or you have a knee problem. I mean, calf. Yeah, you absolutely right. I thought that Ancelotti make it was a political call because when you have the whole nation and then also Ancelotti, he's not Brazilian, you know.
Exactly.
So you have the entire nation, even the president of the country, pressuring you to bring Neymar to the workout. So here's the thing I have to say. Like I said, we talk about Neymar multiple times on this show. Neymar is very talented, but Neymar is not the Neymar he used to be. it's sad that Alex is not here because that's the one thing we always want to talk to
Oh,
Alex about. Neymar is not the same he used to be. It's not the Neymar of the 2018. It's not the Neymar even on the 2022. The minute that Neymar went to Saudi Arabia, he hasn't been the same player. He hasn't been healthy, since he went to Saudi Arabia. And the part that killed me about the whole Neymar thing, if you really wanted to play that World Cup so bad, you did not take any advantage. Like give yourself 1 year. You say, all right, I'm gonna get myself ready for the World Cup, and I'm gonna be in the best shape ever. So Neymar started taking the whole World Cup thing seriously in the last couple months when he wanted to really make the team because that's where you see Neymar at the gym doing all kind of stuff. I was like, dude,
that's a TikTok social media campaign. That's what he took
yeah,
seriously, coach.
that's what I was saying. I was like, dude, you should have done that, last year. Get yourself ready. Get yourself ready. I mean, when you're on social media, you're showing more stuff that have no relationship with soccer than anything else. So that's one thing I like. That's one thing I was like, man, guys, come on now. If you really wanted to play in the World Cup, you should have taken about it seriously. I mean, you're looking at, not to try to compare Neymar with other players. You're looking at somebody like Cristiano Ronaldo. Look at how he's keeping himself in shape.
Even Messi is keeping himself in
Yeah.
shape.
I mean, even though he's not the same player, you think about it. Neymar is only 34, 33 years old, 34, 33 years old. Cristiano Ronaldo is 41. Messi is 39, right? So, and you're looking at those guys, man. I mean, even though, Messi never really said that he was going to play in the World Cup, I mean, you just knew he was going to play, but you saw that he was taking the steps to get himself ready because that's one thing that he makes sure that everybody knew about it. He said that if he doesn't feel like he's ready physically, he's not going to the World Cup. And he makes sure that if he wants to play in the World Cup, he has to get himself physically ready for it. And that's one thing I feel like, Neymar, you old now, you're not the same player you used to be. You have a long history of injuries. You should be taking care of yourself, especially if you want the World Cup to be, your going away party. So that's one thing that I feel like, I kind of I kind of put some blame on him. I was like, dude, if that was your goal, you should have taken it more seriously. So that's my opinion of it. So I wish Neymar a speedy recovery. As a matter of fact, Brazil played Panama today for the World Cup friendly. They beat Panama 6-2, and Vini, score a couple goals. And so I know Alain. I know you're a big Brazil fan. So now we're talking
So,
World Cup.
so,
Now,
so Panama is the standard now. Panama is the standard.
I'm not saying Panama is the standard, man. I'm just saying that they had a game today. This is not what I say. Don't put words in my mouth. I'm not saying they're in the standard. So let me ask you a question. Now we all in World Cup mood now, right? So what's your take on Brazil? Because I think what we're gonna start doing is in the days leading into the World Cup, we're gonna start
Yeah.
talking about different teams. Uh, so what's your take on the Brazilian team?
So I think Brazil now they give the people what they wanted. They have Neymar, although Neymar is not 100% ready to play, but he'll be in the bench. He'll be the cheerleader. He'll be rah rah. So Ancelotti is thinking, you know what? Let me have this guy with me. It's better to have him here next to me than have him stay in Brazil. So in case that something happens, they don't blame me that I didn't bring him over. So he got this done. Now he took a chance, with the players that he has. I feel like with Marquinhos winning the European tournament yesterday. You have a couple of Brazilian that were in that game. You have a few that were played in Arsenal. So I think there's a lot of good players within the Brazilian team. Now, is Brazil ready for the World Cup? I will say yes. Are they gonna go to the next round? Probably, probably they will go to round of 32, right? Am I right? Round of 32.
Yep.
Maybe they'll get to the round of 16, and then we'll see. And then we'll see. But I expect Brazil to navigate through the first round. They will be challenged. I think Haiti will be a challenge. Yes, I said it. I said it. But I don't think Brazil is going to be held back from its group. And that's it. Are they favorites to win the World Cup this year? Everything is possible. You just never know when it comes to Brazil, when it comes to Argentina, when it comes to those like powerhouses. You just never know because their players are talented. It's just a matter of having the right chemistry, the right attitude, clicking on the field,
Yeah.
and some luck. And here you go, you're in the finals and you win. So I think the biggest thing for Brazil right now is to get to the round of 32 and the round of 16. If Brazil can get to the round of 32, the round of 16, and reach the quarterfinals, I think all bets are on.
Fair enough.
How do you think, Coach?
Uh, I think I think I think Brazil. I think Brazil got the team to. I mean, like you said, Brazil always gonna be a favorite in the World Cup. But I think one thing that Brazil used to have that myth. It's Brazil, right? They show up and everybody is scared of them and they don't know how to play. I think that myth is going away. I think people are not afraid of Brazil anymore, and I think because the way the game has evolved. Who would have thought? Who would have said that? Haiti is going to the World Cup, and then we have multiple players playing in the best leagues, right? We. I mean, who would have said that? So, and I think that's the thing. There's so many good players. There's so many players around the world are playing in the best league. So to that standpoint, there's no fear factor or intimidation factor. So, but Brazil is still Brazil, right? They are very talented. They have some of the best players in the world, and Vinny Jr., Martinelli that played yesterday, Endrick. Uh, and, we've seen that movie before, right? Brazil wasn't strong in 2002, like going into the World Cup. And then they went into the work, and then they went into they actually won it, right? So it could happen, right? And like you said, you gotta take one game at a time. As long as you stay healthy, right? You stay healthy, and then you make it count when it matters, right? So anything can happen. So the only thing I would say is, as a chemistry, I feel like the team is missing a lot. And then you can see that from the last couple, when they play against better team, the last couple of games they play, you see that they're not clicking as a team. Uh, and that's why I feel like, the addition of Neymar also, it's adding more disruption. It's adding more disruption. Now those guys gonna feel like, hey, I gotta play for Neymar, or I gotta make sure Neymar is involved in the game. You know what I'm saying? But he's not the same player that he used to be. So one thing I see that the inclusion of Neymar might bring some kind of egos and stuff like that. But whereas when you have a young team, and then you just go and then make it happen. I think losing Esteval before the World Cup, I think that was a big loss. And then the biggest thing I see with Brazil, the midfield and the outside back are not as strong as they used to be. Because when you're looking at all the team that Brazil had when they won, Casemiro is not the same player he used to be, right? And then the outside back are not as strong that they used to be. When you're looking at Dani Alves, when you're looking at the like of Cafu, Roberto Carlos, Marcelo, I mean, you don't have that strength that Brazil used to have. But again, this is the World Cup. maybe those guys are waiting for the World Cup to make a name for themselves. Maybe that's it. So we'll see what happened. But I'm excited. I'm excited about it, and there's also another thing too. Now, everybody, we got Brazil playing Haiti, so me rooting for Haiti. It's not like I'm rooting against Brazil to lose, so it's a legitimate reason. So this is the first time me and Alain gonna be on the same team, against Brazil. So I hope he's rooting for Haiti when Haiti play
All
Brazil.
the way. Haiti all the way, baby.
But
All the
I
way.
know I know we talk about this, man. It's so ironic, when for how Haitians love Brazil, and to be back in the World Cup after 52 years, and Haiti is in the same group as Brazil playing in a World Cup game, not a friendly, not Gold Cup, but a World Cup game. It's it's
Crazy.
it's
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 crazy.
unbelievable. It's
It's
it's it's
unbelievable.
historical. And you know what? You just never we just need to win one game, have one draw, and lose one, and things happen.
Yeah. I
Win
mean,
one, have two draws. You never know. Things could happen. You just never know.
but you think about it, this World Cup, you're gonna have best thirds. So as long as even if we don't finish first and second, if we part of the best third team, hey, we have an opportunity to get to round of 32, right? All right. So we will talk about Haiti a little bit, but the U.S. So the U.S. has a friendly today against Senegal. I don't know if you had an opportunity to watch the game a little bit. So
Hmm.
what's your takeaway from the game?
Yeah, I just look at the highlights. I was looking at some of part of the game. I was shocked. I mean, they looked like they were moving the ball around. There were some good passes. Pulisic did his thing. Score, I think, for the first time I seen him score in a long, long time
Yeah,
for the US for me. Um, Senegal surprisingly came back where he was able to equalize 2-2, and then I think Bollingham scored the third goal.
yeah.
Um,
I like him.
so
I really like him.
yeah, I was like, okay. Again, it's a friendly game, right? It's a friendly game. The thing with the World Cup, it's like I like the fact that they won the game today. That's gonna give them a boost of confidence, right? That's gonna give the coaching staff, okay, guys, this is what I've been saying. I think Pochettino will be able to say, all right, this is what I've been working on for the entire year I've been here with the US team, and
Yeah.
and let's get ready for Paraguay. Let's get ready. Who's on the team? You have Paraguay, Australia, and then you have a third team in the US group. Australia, Paraguay, and I think they
Okay.
should be able to beat Australia. I think Paraguay, they should be okay there, right? And there's a third team.
Uh, is it Saudi Arabia?
No.
No,
Uh,
Saudi Arabia is in the same group as uh, Mexico. Let me let me
The
let
third
me.
team, I had it.
But we get it. Try to find it. So so it's USA, Australia, and Turkey.
Turkey. That's
Yeah,
gonna be a
Turkey.
tough game. Turkey's gonna be a
Yeah,
tough game.
yeah, Turkey's gonna. I mean, it's a tough group, right?
But
When
the
you think
Paraguay is
about.
not it's not an easy team to beat.
Yeah, I mean, none of those. And then one thing I would say though, uh, summer is around the corner. Uh, you're looking at the heat, the humidity. So I feel like the temperature favors the country that, like the U.S., for instance, the Brazil of the world, the countries in South America or Mexico that are so used to a lot of heat in the summertime.
Hmm.
So I'm very nervous about the European team because you saw it in the FIFA World Club. They struggle with the heat a lot. It's funny that today I was watching Friends. I saw a clip on Friends. getting ready for the World Cup, and those guys were just like gassing, man. They were like, oh, I mean, it was hot. Apparently, it's super hot in France, and they were like, man, and they were looking at preseason workout, and those guys were struggling. I mean, struggling big time. I was like,
Oh,
man, I was like, you guys haven't come to the U.S. yet. Oh man, and especially you're talking about New York, Boston, it's super hot. I mean, the humidity is super hot down there, and you got a couple games also in Miami, and you live in Florida. You know how summer is in Florida area. So yeah, it's crazy. But anyway, so one thing I took away from the game. Obviously, we can always break down the tactical aspect of the game, players and how they play, or really what Pochettino wants to do with the team, what kind of formation he wants to play. But the one thing I really like about what I saw today was the passion that those guys showed today, right?
hmm
So those guys showed that, hey, you know what? This is big time. The World Cup is here, and we hosting the World Cup. So we need to play with that passion so we can connect with the fan base. And I was very surprised that even the game was packed. I mean, the game was packed. The game was in Cleveland. The game was super packed. But I think that's one thing that I like to see, because when you the host team, you got all the pressure on you, right?
hmm
Pressure from the fans to perform, pressure from everyone. It's like, man, we the host team, we can just go here and not play well. So that's why it's very important to get the 12 men on your side as soon as possible. And I was not, just like you said, it's a friendly game. You're not too much on the schematic or who won or who did not win the game, but they still won the game, which is a great boost of confidence. But the most important thing is how they playing, how they approaching the game. Even when they foul or somebody get foul, how they just like interact with the ref. You can tell that, hey, those guys realize that in a couple of weeks this is big business. We need to be ready for it. So that's one thing I got from the game that I was very pleased. Even when Pulisic scored the game, I mean, scored the goal, the way he celebrated, right? I mean, the way he celebrated, you could be like, oh my, I mean, like he was a big weight that he lifted off
because
of.
we questioned Pulisic's talent like several times on our podcast.
Yeah,
I told him, what is it? Is he really the golden child?
right.
Why is he on
So
the
I
team?
mean, yeah, and then I mean, the way he celebrated, it looks like he scored in the World Cup. Whereas you see the third goal, the guy was just like, okay, I score, okay, let's move on, and let's move on. But Pulisic was like, ooh, he was a big like, man, I just so I like to see that. I like to see that. So hopefully, one thing I see, those guys were moving really well.
hmm
So that's always a good thing. A team going into the World Cup. And one thing I'm hearing, I mean, and that's something we're going to talk a little bit. There's a lot of teams that carry a lot of injuries into the World Cup. Like Argentina, for instance, got a lot of injured players going into the World Cup. So
Here
and
we
yeah,
go. Here
no,
we go.
I'm just telling you. So not hearing from the U.S. camp, because Pulisic was the one that always hurt, right? Not
hmm
hearing from the U.S. camp, you have people nursing injuries. That's a good sign. I mean, we talk about Neymar hurt before the World Cup, so that's always a good sign when you have your team going into the World Cup healthy, right? And it's a longer World Cup this year because you have more games, right? So
hmm
you want people to be at the best shape to be. I mean, you got a lot of guys nursing injuries going into the World Cup. So, but the good thing is the excitement. The excitement is boiling, which is good. Uh,
Finally,
the
finally.
excitement is boiling, which is good. You could see the atmosphere was rocking today at the stadium. So I'm ready, man. I'm ready. I'm ready. Haiti's playing on Tuesday in Miami for a preparation game. So now you start feeling, now that the Champions League is behind us, the leagues, the big leagues in Europe are behind us. Now there's only one focus now, is the World Cup. So hey, this is our time. We look forward to that time of the year, and we look forward to the World Cup. I can see that, I was a little bit nervous when I was watching the US game. I was afraid that the stadium would be empty, but the stadium was full. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited. And the price are coming down a little bit.
Yeah, that's good.
So hopefully, the true soccer fans can go and enjoy the celebration. So the excitement is there. So I can't wait in 2 weeks to watch the first game between Mexico and Saudi Arabia. I can watch, man. I can't wait to watch it. So
Yeah. I'm just hoping that we don't have any injuries. I know it's good to have those friendlies, but I think the players have to be very careful. Don't overdo it. Don't try to be the hero. It's just to get you guys ready and then get you guys a little bit warmed up, but we shouldn't be so aggressive where we risk missing a World Cup because of a stupid injury. So I will ask for all the players that are playing, especially our Haitian players, guys, take it easy, relax. You guys are ready to go. The country is behind you. You know, every single Haitians and all the Haitians friends that you have that are not from Haiti will be supporting you. Today I was with some friends, and we were having a crawfish brawl, and we were talking about the World Cup and the games and how we're excited to go and watch Haiti play. And everybody's with me. Everybody's supporting Haiti. So guys, we got your back. You're gonna do great, and we believe in you.
yeah. So as an athlete, you never go into anything thinking you're gonna get hurt, right? So you don't think that way, right? And injuries can happen any time in practice.
Hmm.
Somebody, So we just, like you said, we just hope we're praying that everybody is healthy, going into this World Cup healthy. But I think the biggest thing for Haiti is I want guys to go into the World Cup with their mental clean. Even though I was talking to a friend of mine, man, this morning. I don't know how many anthem. I mean, how many anthem that Haiti. I mean, it looks like every week somebody come up with a new song. I mean, I can't keep up with all these songs, man. So I was like, hey, can we just pipe it down a little bit, man? I mean, we got World Cup songs, World Cup anthem coming out every week, man. I mean, damn. I mean, let's pipe it down a little bit, man. Let's talk a little bit about the football. What those guys gonna be playing? We don't need any more songs, man.
Hmm.
So all these guys, man, all these guys who artists, man, who just rather come out with new songs. Hey, man, hey, I don't need any more songs, man.
We need goals. We need Haiti to score goals. That's what we need.
Oh, that's
Score
what I'm
goals.
saying. We need everybody, because all these songs, man, all this pressure, all these stuff going on, man. I mean, I saw Tony Mix and Tito came out with a new songs, man, for the World Cup. Everybody got songs every week, man. We need to pipe
Mm.
down on that, man. let's let's talk about football, man. Let's make sure those boys are ready and to represent the country. But anyway, so Alan, any hot takes before we leave?
No, I think what I will say is like let's watch those friendlies. I think that's what's the most important thing. Let's see like who's stepping up, how the flow is, and I think what you were saying earlier, the team are they clicking? Like the U.S. clicked today. That was a great victory. Brazil beat Panama 6-2. They're clicking. I know we have Germany playing this week also. There's a lot of big teams that are playing. So we're just gonna watch those games, see how the players are, see the chemistry, see how they're reacting to the coaches, how they're passing the ball left to right. Those are the little things we'll be looking for. And then get ready, man. It's gonna be a month of nonstop soccer. So we want to be left alone. They need to leave us alone. That's all we're asking for, and they know who they are.
I know, right? I know. Yep. And yep. Yeah. Let them come, man. We need fans.
We need fans.
We need fans, and then we have one player still. Yeah, we're still waiting for his visa. We need people, man. We need to fill up the stadium, man.
Yes, we
Uh,
do.
yes, we do. So anyway, Alain, it's been fun, man. Like we tell the audience, we are. This is the World Cup time now. So every conversation, every show, gonna be focused. We're gonna be focusing on the World Cup. We're gonna talk about the World Cup. Obviously, next Sunday would be a show when we're gonna looking at all the teams that playing in the World Cup and maybe come up with some predictions. So tune in next week. It's gonna be fun. So we're gonna try to break down a lot of teams, talk about the different teams, and have some guests also be part of it as well too. We can't wait to have our guests because the following week the World Cup starts June 11th. So it's Sunday, next Sunday, please tune in. It's gonna be a World Cup edition. We're gonna be playing for the World. We're gonna be talking about the World Cup. And also, if you have any comment, please comment on our Instagram page, Futbol Unfiltered. Drop some comments. Is anything you want us to kind of discuss next weekend? Please drop us some comments and also on our YouTube channel so we can start having fun because for all football fans, soccer fans around the world, this is our time. The World Cup is here, and we can't wait to celebrate it with you at Football Unfiltered. Until then, Ale, always appreciate your insight. Your as always good. And also, we have some bloopers that we just dropped today on our Instagram page. Please go onto our Instagram and watch those bloopers. But it's unfiltered, no filter, no script. We just have fun doing it. All right. Until then, until next week, I'll talk to you guys later. You guys have a good night.